What's the difference between a faithful Christian and, say, an atheist? The difference I see is that one is looking for resolutions when there is apparent contradictions, or when there is some difficult passage. The person who's seeking after God is going to find resolutions and understand how the Bible is able to be that living whole that is definitely inspired by God. Whereas the atheist, who is seeking self, who is looking to reject God and find a way to reject God, he's not looking for resolutions, he's looking for loopholes, a way to get out of having to do the thing that he knows he ought to do. And if we understand the difference between those two things, if we understand the difference in the mindset of those two kinds of people, then we understand how each is going to frame any biblical passage. You go to Job and you see the beginning chapters of Job, where God is allowing Satan to do some pretty horrific things to Job and his family and his property and his physical being and everything. And the person who's seeking after God is looking at this and saying, okay, God has blessed this man, and he is allowing him to be tried, and he is not stepping in and coddling him, and not stepping in and stopping essentially the option, the choice that he has to reject God. And he is helping Job to grow stronger. And we see that at the end of the book, that Job grows stronger in his understanding of God and his faith towards God. And it was an experience for Job to grow. And the seeker after God will understand that, and they will frame their understanding because they seek after God. Whereas the person who is seeking loopholes, the person who wants to reject God, will look and they will say, how can a good God do such horrible things, or allow such horrible things to happen to Job? And the answer is that God does not take away all of the horrible things that happen to us in this life. God, even though he is good to the furthest extent that any being is possible to be good, he does not take away the pain and the suffering and the options that we have to do good or evil, because he wants us to come to us of our own free will. He wants us to have a choice. It's the difference between a parent who coddles their child, the helicopter parent who never lets their child experience life, experience a skinned knee or pain or anything. And then when the child grows up, they don't really grow up. They're coddled, they're spoiled, there's some pretty rough people in their personalities. And so if we allow ourselves to seek after God, to be honest with ourselves, because that's who we're ultimately not being honest with. But if we allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves and to truly seek after God, then the way that we look at the Bible, the way that we frame the Bible, is going to be in a way that we will find what we're looking for. And if we are the kind of person that wants to find a loophole, God will allow that too. God is not going to force you to believe in him if you don't want to. That's one of the great things about the love of God, is it's not a forced love. And so it's up to us to decide, do we want to seek after God, or are we here just seeking after ourselves?